we are resumed.
Right. Normally, I think the game kind of assumes a standard session length, like 3 to 4 hours. We hit the 4 hour mark. It sounds like everybody's good for another 2 hours. Is that what I was getting?
Sounds good.
As long as everybody wants to do that, I would enjoy it. But the reason I bring this up is normally you only get to tally up your XP in terms of your bonds and what you have role played at the end of a session. I am going to make a GM executive decision here because you guys have been rolling so well and been getting so few XP. And because we are going into basically a double length session, that we will right now, since we had kind of an intermission, see if any bonds have been resolved. I don't know if that's likely, but definitely we had people who acted in their role play interest, in their alignment interest. So I want to get that out of the way.
Awesome.
Let's start from left to right as per normal. We'll start with alignment. With Sylvie, I obviously know where you're going with this. I don't know that you've accomplished it yet, though.
How else would it do if
I am
that were not-
actually bringing up alignment right now in the GM's handbook to make sure you don't have to actually complete it. Maybe it's just you have to act in the nature of completing it.
I mean, the other two are more straightforward, but
Yeah. Let's see here. Well, that's weird. I could have sworn... Is that not even an official mechanic?
it's in the book. It should be. It's on the character sheets.
Let me look at the character sheets then. Where did you see that you gained XP from that? Because it's not mentioned in the actual alignment section. Wanted to see if there's an official word.
End of session at the top of the page. Once bond's been updated, look at your alignment. If you've fulfilled that alignment at least once, mark your experience.
Oh, that's... So, fulfilled. You basically just grabbed a pine cone.
And planted it.
Oh, where did you plant it? I never heard that.
When we took camp the second time.
Oh, I must have missed that. Did somebody else hear that?
Yeah, he spoke to and so plant you here and you shall grow to be big and tall. It
Oh.
wasn't your fault for the thing that was encompassing you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know how I missed that. That's... Yeah, you totally did that then. So you mark XP for that. Do any of your bonds no longer apply? I don't know that we would get any completed this early, but it's been 4 hours. There's a possibility.
My opinion of Telemon is starting to change, but I haven't seen. I've watched him fry a couple people, but
Well,
yeah.
How does that? What would he have to do to smell more like hunter than prey? Because he fireballed like a shit ton of things. Does he just need to do a hat trick, like one third fireball?
I'm not sure.
What would?
I mean, he seems to. He doesn't seem to be that alert most of the time.
Okay,
If he would like.
So maybe he has to take some sort of decisive, preemptive action against a danger.
Yeah, because right now he's basically been reactive in
Okay.
general.
I don't know. I was pretty preemptive against that branch full of ambushing elves.
Yeah, but
that
she
was
wasn't there to
pretty
see that.
True.
Yeah.
It's true.
And that was something mid-combat. Like I think the prey more than the hunter kind of implies that you're not the one initiating the conflict. Like you're not the one on top.
We have to be instead of ambush E.
You have to be the one in charge. I mean I'm not the one with the bond, but that's how I kind of read it. So I don't think you've filled any of your bonds yet. But I think you're on the way. I think I have shown Telemon a secret right of the land. I think like maybe if he shows you something, or it's just been like maybe he's so in tuned with the land or something that like it's just like a no-brainer. Maybe that'll fulfill that way. Tell, you definitely used magic to directly aid another. So put an XP point.
I don't think my bonds are going anywhere right now.
No, I don't think so. How about you, Regan? Have
For
you?
my oh, good.
You know what? You definitely endangered yourself following the precepts of your church or god, by staying in the cart and potentially accepting 1d10 damage to save the
To keep your mace.
The mace that is the symbol of your god. It might not
Yeah, I
be a
think that's,
precept per se, but it is certainly a function of your religion.
I think that might definitely apply.
Like in danger, definitely jumps out. And yeah, I'd say that.
Awesome. So I get 1 XP for that, or?
Yeah, 1 XP.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Thanks.
Are you in a state now where Telemon is more respectful of your deity? I don't know that you've actually talked with them about it yet.
I don't think it really cleared out that.
The one thing that maybe is
perhaps trust him more.
Perhaps. Sylvonia is in constant danger. I will keep them safe. How do you feel about that? Like, that's one that could certainly change very quickly.
I'm actually gonna have to be communicating with her more to find out what other potential things she can shift into.
Okay, so you're on the way.
She's completely uneducated right now. When she's educated, perhaps she could see the world differently. We're finding that out now.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. I think that takes care of that.
Oh man, Humble Bundle, by the way, has CNC Generals plus 0 hour for any price you want to pay. So I'm probably gonna pick it up for like 10 cents if anyone else wants to play it sometime.
I have to look at that.
My copy is currently not functioning anymore, so that could be something interesting.
I remember you guys were mentioning something about that, and I heard about it.
Shockwave mod.
Put it over there.
Shockwave mod.
All right, so
What else does it come with? Oh, never mind. We're on stream. We'll just talk about this later.
you guys are in the forest. It is.
I was trying to figure out where that sound was coming from. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is the morning. You know, you've been up for a little while, and you've been on your way. You are
I
heading.
don't hear anything.
Really? It's at 1/4 volume. If I turn it up any louder, I'm gonna have a hard time hearing you guys.
It's worth noting you can turn it down on your end. If you click the gear on the right side, there's a master music volume level.
Well, the thing is, it's showing up for you guys, right?
My system volume wasn't turned up all the way. It's up now. I can hear it.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, if you leave it at low, we can't increase it. We can only decrease it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't even have like a. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I basically just made sure to have everything at a lower volume so I don't blow anybody's speakers out. I don't want to force them to adjust after the fact. I'll bump it up a little bit. All right, so you're heading in a northeaster-ishly direction, thanks to Brother Groundhog.
Yes.
You have one horse remaining. Pestilence, fondly nicknamed by Regan, I believe. And you know, I kind of just picture you guys walking along together, and Brother Wolf has mentioned that he smells death and decay on the wind. You've moved on further into the forest. It's started to get a little harder to maneuver. You're going uphill, just slightly. The trees get a little bit closer together, as if they've been here longer, and the trees are definitely bigger. There's also some sort of crazy bird monkey thing. It's a little bit lighter than it has been. Like it.
I helped to show my newfound companions like the best way through the woods.
Yeah, it's really fortunate that you guys have Sylvonia there, because this is definitely heavy forest.
Yep. Here we have Wizard Tell in my baggy robes and my wizardly hat, getting snagged upon nearly everything.
Yeah, I imagine, you know, you're walking along with your staff / walking stick in one hand, and you're basically holding your hat down with the other almost. Ahead of you, you know, the ground starts to raise a bit more. You can definitely sense a rise here. Perhaps the center of the forest, or at least deeper into the forest, is a little bit higher elevation than the rest.
Perhaps I am presumptuous to think so, but if I were to build a castle, a keep, one would say, I believe I would put it on high ground, right? So perhaps we're going the right direction.
It seems like that's a sensible thing. So you're walking. How are you guys walking? Like I have the sense that Brother Wolf is out front. Are you guys walking in a row? Are you walking together? How far?
I'll probably be up on my horse, probably.
As the most encumbered by the terrain, I'm probably pushing my way through the brush and the pack.
I will say now, Regan, that the canopy is so thick that it is a little bit cumbersome to ride upon your horse.
Okay.
You get the more than occasional branch in your face.
Then I will climb off and I guess walk along with the group leading the horse.
All right.
Sorry about that. I was choking on something.
As you are walking, the forest around you stills, and you notice that once again, Brother Wolf has paused.
I discern realities.
Yes.
My head is down, and the hat brim's there, so I can't see. So I walk into the back of Regan, like, why have you stopped?
And
What question will you ask?
10 plus asks 3 questions from the list below. What is about to happen?
Some elves are about to come out from behind the trees, as they do before your eyes.
What should I be on the lookout for?
Potential an ambush from the side, knowing how they've operated in the past, and potentially above.
What here is not what it appears to be.
You notice that high up in several of the trees, that there are several camouflaged figures pointing bows at you with arrows drawn. So these figures step out directly in front of you, perhaps 20 paces. Three of them, all cloaked in what appears to be hides, but the outside of their cloaks and their hoods is all layered in leaves. They have a similar mask covering the front of their faces, and only their eyes and their foreheads are visible. The three that step before you, of them, two of them have bows, although they are not drawn. They are at their sides. One of them has a long, slightly curved, definitely wicked-looking sword out at his side. They step out before you, and the one with the sword calls out, "Stop there!"
In the common tone?
Yes.
Well,
What do you do?
I will stop.
So Regan comes to a stop, pulling the horse to a stop. Brother Wolf starts backing up slowly with a deep growl, his hackles raised.
I tell him that they want us to stop. In a growling, semi-undertoned voice.
There are more in the trees.
But they are already looking at us, brother.
So
With bows drawn.
they, the ones out before you who are clearly visible, just stand there. They see the two on the sides seem fairly tense. The one in the middle is definitely scanning you, and it looks like his attention is on the prominent red robes of the wizard. You shall go no further.
Why is that?
Have you not destroyed enough of this forest as it is? Your reign of fire and terror extends no further. Turn back now.
I sent my fire against no threat that did not first attack me.
I warn you again. If you do not turn back, we will be forced to kill you. These woods are forbidden to all. None may enter and none may leave.
Do I have a clear view of one of their archers?
You don't know that the archers are there.
Okay. I don't have a view of the archers.
You do have a
Just
view of
the
the
guy
three
that's hanging on the
people.
sword.
If this forest is forbidden, why have I not heard of such? I've heard many things, but nothing about these woods.
The deep woods is forbidden to all, not by laws of man, but by nature. Those who tread here never leave. We see to that.
We seek an ancient land by the name of how can I mispronounce this on purpose? Vandus?
The elves definitely stiffen, and I think the two with the bows slightly raise them, but not all the way. The leader gives them a look. Exandus is long dead. Turn back.
Be that as it may, we still seek it. Be it through here or through another route, we shall still do so.
He just glares at you, and
I see
he
not
watches
why
you.
this path will be different than any other.
It matters not. You have been told to turn back. You are lucky that we do not hold grudges. You have already taken several of our brethren from us.
Only after you fired first.
The growling is definitely very, very prominent from Brother Wolf at this point. And I the two archers aside from him are definitely kind of like stiffened in like a readied pose. Their attention is definitely on the wolf now.
Brother Wolf, if you do not stop growling at them, they're going to shoot you.
He raises his hand but holds it there. Will you not turn back?
Can I use a discern reality?
Yes,
just
you
to-
can.
Okay, I think I'm gonna roll that here. That would be a
2d6 plus
wisdom.
wisdom.
cool.
Yep.
God,
Success.
Holy crap.
You may ask 3 questions.
Who's really in charge here? Is it this guy that's talking to us?
Yes.
What here is not what it appears to be.
You too notice the figures in the trees. You count 6 of them, 3 on either side of you, roughly, although not evenly.
And what is about to happen?
They're about to shoot us.
Yeah, it seems as though if things are going the way they are, this man is going to give the order to fire, or this elf rather. It's rather impossible for you to tell.
Okay, and then in that case, I think I might try my gambit. I'm going to have to see.
All right.
I'm going to approach the man and ask if he knows who I am.
If you take a step closer and the 2 beside him draw their bows and point at you, and the guy just does not answer, although he is holding his hand up at his side.
I'm going to hang on one second here. Actually, I need to make sure it works the way I think it does.
Do you know who I am? I'm the High Priest of Exandus.
I'm going to do I have like I guess I could probably have like a symbol on my book or whatnot.
Yeah, definitely the symbol of he who cannot be named.
Okay, I was gonna try. What I'm trying to think of is I'm gonna try to use cause fear on him, and then go up and basically start trying to order him to let us pass if I succeed at it.
You realize that the spellcast is not a violent thing, right?
Let me look. This is
I was
not
hoping to
Dungeons
make
and
him
Dragons. Don't
make
speak
him
out of
afraid
turn.
of my order, perhaps. Is kind of what I'm thinking.
You'll likely still have to do something that's visible, but
Yeah,
I don't know that you have to
alternative-
speak.
The other alternative, if that doesn't work, does he have anything unusual about his armor or anything unusual about him? Like that, like a different characteristics he's carrying, or
That separates him from the others?
yeah.
He's a slight bit bigger, like a little bit more muscular. Although he's not like what you would consider a giant or anything by any means. He's just like these
like maybe
these
a
other ones are
physical trinket.
obviously like the typical elf builds. This guy is just more like a normal kind of athletic guy, and he has a bow on his back, but he has this curved sword. Most of the others seem to have axes.
Okay.
The others are wearing cloaks of dark green beneath their leaves. He is wearing one of dark red, like the color of kind of like autumn leaves.
I might actually play this a little different than I was originally planning to. I'm going to tell him that he should mind his tongue when talking to the great Telemon, and I'm going to try and make him fear his. I guess what would be I guess I would make what would be fearable on Telemon.
Let's see here. Choose a target you can see in a nearby object. The target is afraid of the object so long as you maintain the spell. The reaction is up to them. You can just choose Telemon. Telemon is an object.
All right, if I can choose him, then yeah, I'm going to use Cause Fear, and I'm going to try to make him fear Telemon.
All right, so I envision you kind of just holding out your hand and saying, "Do you? What was it you said? Something about the Great Telemon?"
Mind your tongue. You speak to the Great Telemon, and then I'll probably try to lift off a few achievements that he mentioned earlier that are slipping my mind out of character right now.
Yeah. So as you do so, you cast your spell. Kind of waving your hand over at him, but it's at the same time that you're speaking, so like it's kind of like a gesture. Nothing says that you have to make some sort of incantation for this, especially something like cause fear.
Here goes nothing.
Yeah. 8. So on an 8 on the cleric casting table, you choose. You draw unwelcome attention or put yourself in a spot. The GM will tell you how. Your casting distances you from your deity. Take -1 ongoing and to cast a spell until the next time you commune. Or after you cast it, the spell is revoked. You cannot cast it again until you commune.
The -1, is that just to this spell or to all spells?
All spells.
And what was the first option again? I'm sorry, I'm playing.
You draw unwelcome attention or put
Yeah, I
yourself
definitely
in a
don't want
spot.
that. Definitely don't want that one in this point. So I think I'm gonna go with option number 2, the -1. I'll take the -1.
Okay.
Certainly not the time I want to do that.
Oh, this is great. The reaction is up to them. Flee, panic, beg, or fight.
Hopefully not fight. That would be the worst outcome, but all the others would be
Do
pretty
you-
damn funny.
Do you know who you're dealing with? The great Telemon? Do you
Reciting
say
the speech he gave me when I first met him.
and I assume you like kind of launch into like he's already burned down half your forest, he'll burn down the rest if you piss him off, something like that.
He destroyed and then what was that creature called again?
The assassin vine.
He destroyed the assassin vine with a single finger, and you think you pose a threat to him?
I'm going to prepare
Ooh.
a defense action to defend Telemon.
Can
I don't know. I don't
fear
know.
as leverage to parlay?
I'm not sure if that could be such a thing in this game or not.
Hang on, too many things going on here. Yeah, he backs up. And like he raises his sword, but like he doesn't like lower his other arm. Like he looks around and like he doesn't look like he's in an outright panic. But
I
but,
did
like,
not wish to kill the others. They merely attacked me first. But
there
should you
there
choose
is
the
no
same,
there is no need for more destruction. He says. The others are like kind of looking at him, but like they're also kind of freaked out too.
I think at this point, I definitely want to interject a loud to the direction of where I saw those figures. There's also no need for hiding in bushes like
Yeah,
cowards.
yeah, you can see them kind of stiffen. They stay where they are. And they're like their arrows are all trained right at the wizard.
if
But
what you say is true, why would you need to stop us? The way you say it, the forest will kill us anyways. Why stop us here?
the forest may kill you, but you will not stay dead. He's like backed up several steps, and the two beside him like are looking at him, like like what is he doing? They're not looking at him like he's crazy because they're obviously a little bit intimidated by you too. But like I think they're more shocked that this guy is freaking out than just like somebody is freaking out. What do you do? He's the forest will kill you, but you will not stay dead. We ensure nothing leaves this blighted land.
The way I see it, dead there or dead here, the undead still take what they will.
What do you know of the undead?
I know that few of them cast spells, whether they could before death or after.
I will also say that I am
Should they take me,
Philemon's.
my legend will be no more. But I would likely come back as a mere zombie, and you would have little to fear of that.
I will say that I'm the humble servant of Talaman here, that has the art of permanently silencing the dead.
That earns you a sharp look from this guy. Like something you just said has
Burned bodies
like,
make no zombies.
he still looks frightened, because the spell is ongoing, but like it seems like he's really trying to hold his ground. This must be a very brave individual for him to not just run off and panic. What are you getting at?
I have no wish either to rise as the undead. Should such a thing occur, I would burn myself than become one of them.
Yeah, that's not really getting any reaction from him. He's basically looking the same as he was. The ones in the trees are definitely looking like panicked because their leader is like not giving them orders or anything. They look like they're on the verge of firing, even if he has not lowered his hand. What is everybody doing?
Really wishing I had better spells. That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of wishing I did too.
I don't really want to fireball him. But
Why is the area forbidden?
They already said that.
The green ones.
Am I getting the impression that he doesn't want the undead turned, or am I getting the impression that he actually does want them permanently put away? Because it sounds like you get
He
sharp
wants-
look. I wasn't.
Sharp look is in like you said something about Telamon permanently destroying undead, and like I can't tell you if it was because he wants that to happen or not. You can kind of infer what you will.
We seek a route to Anxandus. If the undead lie in our way, we shall burn them clear.
One of the two beside him leans closer and like seems to whisper something, and then the other one like curses at him. Like, you know, he shouldn't be doing that, but the guy in the middle kind of whispers back, how do I know that you would not become infected yourself and use your powers to escape?
I'm going to jump in and tell him if he brings me one of the afflicted, I will cure it as proof of our intent.
One of the guys with the bows points it at you now. None of the green ones may be allowed to leave. We barely keep them at bay.
If what you say is true, this cannot be the only way out. This is hardly the only entrance to Xandus.
I know not about Xandus. They come from the dead tree.
I look at Sylviona. We've heard mention of this before, but know little of it. But if it is indeed the tree of which is their source, I'm sure it burns much like the others, yes?
There's like another kind of hushed back and forth between this guy and the other. It seems like maybe if he wasn't so panicked, he might be able to make some sort of decision. But he is like he's still like very frightened, and he's not sure of himself.
also not gonna cancel the fear of him, though. I think that's better than him not being afraid of our guy at the second. Unless I can't. Can I cancel it even, or is it?
You can.
It's continuous, so you could end it at your will.
You know
Perhaps,
what? Maybe.
perhaps, you could, if not cancel the fear, like it seems like he needs some sort of reassurance that the mighty wizard, is not going to go nuts on them.
This is where I'm going to turn and look at the wizard and be like, "Your move."
To the wizard when he consults his spells and not like his options for the day.
I remind you, it's not today, but hourly.
Yeah, if I don't have anything at this level, like other than
Yeah.
like Fireball is the highest level one.
Yeah,
You've
so
seen
all
what
eyes
my
are-
fireballs have done already, though it was not my will to do so at that time. I would much rather have parlayed with you and spoken of better times, so that I may help you in this quest if it is the undead that require purging.
Suddenly Talamon's become a young man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I know, it's a tense situation.
Oh, I'm sorry. You see, when the situation comes, it comes very, very tense. The years seem to just fall away from me. I don't know what to say.
He seems to be standing on the brink. He says, would you burn out the green ones?
Given what I have heard of them, I believe I would. Destroy them all if I could.
There must be no half measures. If the green is allowed to escape, there would be no end.
Tell me more of this plague upon the land, and I shall burn them to their core.
He looks around, and he looks up towards the archers, and he kind of puts his arm out to the side and then lowers it, and everybody sort of relaxes. Like the guys in the trees still have their bows, but they kind of relax their hold on them. And he's still fearful of you, but it seems the situation is de-escalated slightly. Do you approach? You guys have been having this conversation at some distance.
I hold my arms out to my side and approach him casually.
Okay, yeah.
Very obviously not casting any spells or reaching for spell
The
components.
first step makes him flinch slightly, but he seems to kind of man through it. And,
Perhaps put your staff down, Telemon.
It's not up, is it?
Well, lay it on the ground.
Going to grab my horse's reins again and lead it behind Telemon, just staying behind him casually.
yeah,
Nice.
he gives like a gesture, and the six jump out of the trees, and they kind of still form a perimeter around you, but it's not close, and they seem to be giving you distance.
Tell me
Design-
more of these creatures and where I might find them.
I know not if I can trust you, but we are growing desperate. The green ones come from the heart of the forest, where the great dead tree lives. It resides in a great pit, and all that return bear its mark.
What has become of the spirit of this forest?
He just kind of looks at you.
Every forest has a spirit at its center that guides the rest.
If this forest once had a spirit, it is long dead.
No spirit can ever be truly dead.
For as long as we have guarded this place, the heart of the forest has been dead. And the watch has been going on since my father's father's time.
I have read much of this of the keep that once stayed here. The great wizard Phaedrus, a master grower.
He shows some recognition as this conversation is happening. He grows a little bit more comfortable. Like, he's still wary of you, but he pulls back his hood and he pulls down his mask. And you're actually kind of surprised to see that he looks more human than elven. He's kind of a younger guy, like 26 maybe 27. It's kind of hard to tell given he looks like he has some elf blood. He's got fair skin and short blonde hair, and blue-green eyes. He studies you and and talks to you. And as that happens, he eventually sheathes his sword. And the others are all very wary, but they seem to kind of take that as a a sign. I am Ilyash of the Lyrian Rangers. We have been watching this part of the forest since before my time.
Seems a long time to merely guard a forest of corruption.
We make sure that the Green Ones gain no more than they can.
But you have not tried to speak to the heart of the forest to heal it, or purge the evil.
I don't think you understand. Perhaps if we show you, it'll become clear. This is not something that can be healed, young one. He looks down at you. It is death incarnate, and those under its sway rise again. Horrible, mal-rotten pieces of flesh and forest combined together. We call them the Green Ones because, although they take the form of those who have died, they are not truly those who have gone before, but rather, he kind of seems to try to be looking for words.
What you described to me does not seem a normal undead, but more of a fungal infection sorts?
He nods. That is fairly accurate.
Is it a parasite, or is the fungus actually animating the dead with any kind of consciousness?
What he describes to you,
they are not who they were before.
Yeah, what he describes to you, you get that it seems like it's some sort of fungus that is apparently being spread by this dead tree.
Should be interesting, because I guess when I run into one and try to use Turn Undead, I guess I'll know the nature.
But when we find a sign that reads "Here there be clickers,"
but yeah, like it seems the way they describe them, they're mindless husks, but they're not decayed. This thing seems to stop and in some cases reverse rotting, but the beings are obviously no longer alive. It's like they're basically almost puppets, and they kind of have colonies of fungus that kind of grow within them. As you're talking, he leads you deeper into the forest. The other 8 have basically taken up a very wide perimeter. You've kind of lost sight of several of them. A couple of them seem to have gone ahead at his direction. Some of them seem to have fallen behind. He seems very like he asks you about why you have come here and what you have done and what happened. He's interested in the incident with the vine particularly, that apparently got his attention. I assume you tell him all this sort of thing.
Telemon there just simply waved his hand and the entire top of the tree disappeared.
Indeed,
Yes.
it was attacking both I and my companions, and though I would wish to not harm the tree if possible, time was not of the pressing matter at that point.
Arar and Ferret have both seen this power of yours. He mentions to a pair of them. I think like you catch a slight flick of the ears from Brother Wolf, Sylviona. Like maybe these are the people that he sniffed before.
Out of curiosity, would I have any lore on a tree that apparently can turn dead into undead and that sort of thing? Seems like kind of.
Do you have a bag of books?
I don't have a bag of books. I was just
That's
wondering
really
if that's,
unfortunate.
given that's like a very undeadish type
I
thing.
will let
I
you-
was
let me
wondering
see
if that
here.
would apply or not.
Bag of books simply gives you a +1 to it. And now you
Okay.
myself.
Oh, hold on, sorry. It's fine. I know what causes it.
You are free to spout lore though. That's basically the same thing.
That's what I was thinking of doing.
Yeah. Roll
That
int.
would be at the normal +2,
This is-
right? It wouldn't be
This
at
is
a negative
definitely
one?
something that would have intrigued or piqued your interest. Yeah, it's whatever your int mod is. Man, you guys
There we
on
go again.
you guys on these rolls are just fucking crazy.
So
I'm
about
gonna
those
roll
lottery
3
tickets.
meaningless rolls just to see.
4, 6. Wow! Stop with the rolls. Stop with the rolls.
Damn.
You're
Well,
wasting
I'm
all of.
sorry. I'm sorry. I was just trying to see if it was broken or not. It's
No,
it's
no. I
so
mean, it's
bizarre.
obviously broken. You can't fail.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
last
want you
3
to.
rolls mean absolutely nothing.
I
would
don't
delete
want
them
you
if I
to
could.
waste any more rolls.
Good point. Good point.
You got a 12. Yes. An interesting and useful. Yeah, this is. You have heard tale of not a tree, but some sort of disease wrought from magic. Specifically, unlife magic. Magic used to bring those who are dead back to life. That like when gone wrong, has at times caused some various side effects. That's how a lot of zombie plagues are started. But you remember something about some sort of like this is definitely one of the more odd things you've come across in your studies, because it seems like they're actually not. They're both dead and undead. Like most of the undead are simply animated corpses with no life in them. They're held together purely by magic. It seems like you remember something about a fungus or a spore or a parasite or something that is created by magic but is not magic in and of itself. And once it finds something that is dead, it basically assumes jurisdiction over that and can repair it to some extent. But this is definitely something you have heard of, but only once or twice, and those were always like very rare tales of like, yeah, this happened somewhere really, really far away, like maybe something you didn't necessarily believe, certainly something you never thought you would ever encounter.
Oh wow. I haven't heard any weaknesses, any particular things that could kill them, or do I not haven't heard any legends of that?
They are obviously plant-based, so they are actually more vulnerable to fire than most undead. You also know, however, that they are also much more hardy. They have they are purported to have some regenerative power aside from just remaining undead.
I'm actually going to, so I know all this, I'm probably going to both start cataloging in a journal of everything that goes on here for my book, and also probably get a new spring in my step and whistle in my tune.
So, do you guys have any specific questions or things you want to do as this band of rangers lead you through the forest? Right now, there are basically, I think, there are 5 of them. There's 4 that are guarding you, and of course Iliash.
I might speak with Sylvana when I get a chance and ask what form she's limited to.
I know
or
little
does
I
she...
can right the wrongs I've already done, but should any of you be injured, I would offer to assist with that.
I'm afraid you were most thorough.
Indeed. Perhaps
offer
I
is
shall
noted.
help you by eliminating this threat once and for all, then.
That would do more good than you could possibly imagine. We have added more of our brothers to their ranks than I cared to think over the years. My own father among them.
Your father.
Yes.
You have raided it in the past?
We form a perimeter. There was once a time when we raided. There was once a time when, foolishly, we attempted to do what we are talking now and destroy the tree. But that ended in disaster. Now we merely hold the line and do our best to make sure nothing escapes and nothing enters. If anything should enter, it only increases
No
its own
dam
power.
can hold back the tide forever.
He just kind of gives you a look like, yes.
Something must be done, or you will surely fall.
It is not us that we are concerned about. It is the rest of the world.
Surely wizards have tried before, yes? If they are indeed of plant origin, as it would seem, surely fire would be most effective.
It is the only way we can keep them at bay often. They are often lethargic at night and most active during the day. But they rarely make a break through the perimeter. They seem to build up first.
Do they have any captured specimens? I would definitely inquire about that.
He shakes his head very firmly. Any contact with them risks exposure. So yeah, he tells you basically that about the Lyrian Rangers who came here. Sylvie, you know that there was a group known as the Lyrian Rangers in the Lyrian Forest. This seems to be some sort of offshoot that long ago left the lands of your people. It's very illegal for them to be here, but since they keep to the center of the forest, and also nobody comes here, they basically just have remained hidden. It also seems like maybe anybody who has traveled deep enough to make contact with them has been killed one way or another. Their numbers are not great from what he describes. They have not necessarily a village, but they have several encampments around what they tell you is the pit. And he tells you that he has sent 2 of his rangers forward to make sure that that your progress through is not hindered. Already you've probably passed several scouts who have refrained from putting arrows through you.
I find it strange that this dead tree, as you call it, would grow out of a pit. Do you know anything of it?
The tree was supposedly there a long time. You mentioned Fendris. What do you know of him?
I know he was a grand grower of things. He was an elf, right? I think he was an elf.
Yeah, elven
He was
mage.
elf famous for the growing of great things. He ruled the keep here several hundred years ago.
That is true, although the keep, what remains of it, is below ground. We not know what caused the disaster, but the keep remains no more, and all there is the pit. It's a crater, if you will, in the center. And
Has any of your people tried to contact him? It is not without power that a wizard such as I could do. Surely he would know.
You asked before about mages. He looks a little bit nervous at this. A little maybe unrelated to the fact that he's still frightened of you. I am not the leader of my group, but I believe I can get you there, to the pit. We may face difficulties, however. The thing about the green ones is that they often lose all intelligence, all ability. They become less than animals. But those with the ability to use magic are more dangerous. We long ago stopped training ourselves in the ways of magic. For those who fell, made things many times worse.
That seems strange to me.
Eventually,
to my knowledge, like you say, they lose all intelligence. It takes a great deal of intellect to cast even the simplest of spells.
It is not spells, but magic. The two differ, do they not?
In most cases, yes, but one would say that the ability to cast spells would require magic in the first place. Magic without spells is raw, uncontained.
Precisely. Upon creatures of instinct, it is most disastrous.
One would think such magic would be as destructive to themselves as others, yes?
He nods.
Would not they have thinned their own ranks?
The problem remains that for every one of them that falls in such a manner, more of us fall, and thus we replenish their numbers.
You have tried to burn them out before.
Once. We lost over 2/3 of our order that day. That was almost 2 centuries ago. It was right after the beginning.
Do they have any evidence how the infection spreads?
He basically describes the, like, if you have any sort of contact with one of the quote green ones, the things to watch out for are the fungus that is obviously visible, but they apparently have some sort of tiny spores that can be released in very small amounts, just as particles when they are injured. And even just contacting them risks some sort of infection with them. And that's primarily how it goes. They've apparently been like very very careful to keep their food and their water supply very far away from their lines of where they basically hold the perimeter, because they've had some instances in the past where just some stray particles eventually built up and infected a food or water source, and part of the rangers were contaminated.
That's good to watch out for.
Yeah, so eventually you guys you're making your way uphill again, and I think you start to see signs that this area is somewhat inhabited. Like you see the occasional tree that has been chopped down, the occasional tree that's marked. If you look above you, you see like a fort somewhere, or some sort of stand. And then you start coming across long, deep trenches. This is like the really first clue that you're entering like some sort of encampment or something. He basically tells you he's not taking you to an encampment because he believes that it would only exacerbate any sort of issues with the rest of his people. But you cross these long trenches, and they're like they're somewhat World War I-esque in dimensions, in terms of like they're 5 or 6 feet deep. They're angled at the bottom. They're not flat, so they're not really made for walking in. And across these trenches, they have the occasional like really kind of makeshift wood bridge that is obviously there to be pulled back. You see rows of barrels occasionally, which you think might contain oil. And like this is obviously their outer perimeter. And the further you get in, you see like another even deeper trench. And you actually see like some kind of fortification walls made out of cut down trees. Off in the distance to one side, you think you can see a little bit of smoke and what might be some buildings tucked in between the trees, but it's hard to see. You have thus far not run into really anybody. Do you have any more questions for Ilyash?
Do
None
you
I can
know
think
when
of.
this disease started?
He shakes his head. Perhaps several hundred years ago, at least. We found it here when we came. We were fleeing persecution back home, and it was here already when we arrived. What we have learned is only speculation, really. It takes root in Fenris's keep, and it is said that Fenris had something to do with it. I know not what. Apparently,
I asked again if anyone has tried to contact his latent spirit.
he shakes his head. No.
Do you know his full and true name?
He also shakes his head. To him, it is basically just a story.
Do you know any who would know his full and true name?
Perhaps one of the elders. He looks very doubtful when you ask this. Like he
If
doesn't want
Fenris
you.
was indeed involved, and if he has actually died and is not there still, then we would be able to contact his spirit, and he would know.
Well, I know not how he could not be dead. He laughs a bit. Not even elves live that long.
You say that, but here we are, in a land of the undead, as it were. Perhaps he could not bear to see his tree die one day.
So you guys actually come upon like open sky for the first time in a while, and before you is like the lip of like some sort of fortification. By now you have actually passed through several kind of lines of these things, of these fortifications with trenches. You've actually seen people occasionally manning some sort of outpost. Not a whole lot, just a few. It seems like they're spread pretty thin. Occasionally, and he has steered you around away from this. You might have seen what looks like some sort of body on the wood floor, on the forest floor, filled with arrows, charred to like cinders. He carefully steered you around those, and now, like, you know.
Wait, I saw those.
Yeah.
I might say to wait there a moment and go over to investigate them for a second.
He looks fairly alarmed, but he looks to tell, like, this.
Look, I missed that. Barrels full of arrows?
No,
Corpses
full of arrows burned to cinders. Like just occasional ones. More so as you approach this obvious, like, rising elevation.
Raygon, I would remain here.
I will only be a moment.
You
risk
friend...
much for that moment. I suggest you remain here.
Unless the bodyguard try to stop me, I'm going to start heading over to them.
A couple of them do step in the way, and Iliash turns to tell and says, "Your servant, he knows not what risk he takes."
I'm going to turn and say, we must know what we're up against.
We shall know soon enough anyways, Raygon. Why risk it sooner than later?
I would rather face a dead creature than a undead creature. To learn what weaknesses we might have.
Iliash kind of looks to you. Tell. Like, he obviously doesn't think this is a good idea, but he's leaving this kind of up to you.
Like, there's little we could discover from them now that we won't discover later.
There's much I can discover from them that I would not be able to discover from one that is attempting to kill you. I will only be a moment.
As my servant, I declare you to stay here.
Dug yourself into that one, cleric.
Oh, man.
Now, let us continue.
My character is definitely getting back on the irked side again here. He'll eventually follow.
You hear teeth grinding. Alright, let's see. So, you've actually come to what looks like a makeshift wall. It's not complete. Like, it looks like it's been broken down in areas. It's got like spiked logs blocking gaps in it, and there are actual people standing guard upon, like, high upon watch posts. And as you guys approach, a pair of figures in green and one in red approaches. Zakai, Iliash says, raising a hand. This person who approaches is like clearly storming up, and actually has like a dagger at his side. Iliash, what is going on here? What is the meaning of this? He, from beneath this man's hood, you see a long gray beard, but kind of fiery yellowish brown eyes. He looks to be some sort of elf, although he has a little bit darker skin than most of the elves you have seen thus far in the forest. And he's definitely fairly old. The two who approach with him have bows drawn, and like for a moment, the four who have been guarding you, basically at Iliash's call, kind of look to him, look to each other, look at this new guy, Zakai, and like they obviously don't necessarily know what to do. Iliash holds up a hand. Lord Watcher, I can explain. The other guy like almost makes to go past him, but Iliash manages to stop him, and I take it you probably give them like a little bit of room. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, that's fine.
So like they seem to have like a very heated.
Though perhaps someone with better hearing than me, Sylviona, may be able to hear them.
Yeah. They seem to be having like a very heated discussion. It's fairly brief. The older man is demanding to know what's going on, why he has brought those who have killed members of the Order through the defenses. He wants to know if Iliash has lost his mind. Iliash fervently tells him that this red wizard, this red wizard with the power of fire, has shown his power and is capable of burning hordes of the green ones, and he says that he will destroy the tree. He's chided for that and called a fool. You get several like really nasty looks from this older guy, but like as this is happening, like a couple more people show up, kind of on the flanks, and this definitely looks kind of like a very situation.
What situation? All I heard was dice.
So I repeat back to them basically what he just said. They're trying to convince him to let us go through. He thinks it's a bad idea, such and such.
If that's looking too bad, I might try to
I will approach
fear
them.
the new guy.
I guess
yeah,
yeah.
As you step forward, the guards on either side of the older man, raise their bows.
There's
And
no need for that. I merely wish a few words of him.
Yeah, Iliash tries to calm him down. The old man is speaking in common, but he looks kind of detestingly at you. Why are you? How was I doing the voice? Why are you here, wizard?
I'm here thinking a route into Exandus. Would understand these spores of this great tree lie in my way. If it shouldn't be, I will burn them all out in order to get a route I need.
We have heard this before. He looks at Iliash like with kind of contempt. None have been able to do it.
Be that as it may. Have any before you tried to contact the spirit of Fenris?
You catch like kind of a different look in his eye when you say that. And like he seems to inspect you a little bit differently. What do you God, I keep losing the voice now.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, well, you're not having to do like 6 of them.
That's right. I would never be able to keep up with 6.
What do you know of Fedris?
I know that he was a great grower of several 500 years ago, and he grew a great tree here. One I hear is giving you no end of problems nowadays. I wonder if he was somehow involved in this current problem.
So the old texts supposedly say.
If it is said so, why not ask him? If he has truly passed beyond the gates, his spirit should be open for questioning. It bothers them little to be questioned. They get to return to the life of day for a mere moment.
We do not permit the use of magic here.
It need not be here that I cast the spell. I merely wish to ask if you know his full and true name. I merely know him as the wizard Fenris. I know not whether that was his first or last name.
Fedris.
Is it Fedris?
Yeah.
I keep hearing Fenris the whole time, so...
Fendris.
Fendrus.
It's Fendris.
Let me spell it out. Fendris.
Fendris. Not...
Yes.
Okay.
Fedris.
Is it Fendris or Fedris?
Fendris.
I can imagine this conversation going on.
Yeah, like the old man and the other old man.
Well,
It's Fendris.
I just got it straight as Fendris, and you said Fedris. I'm like...
The old man's like, I have a stuffy nose.
It is Fendris. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, we are clear on that. Right, back to what we were talking about. I know not whether it was his first or last name, but should we know his full and true name, we should be able to summon his spirit. If he was the one that created the tree, he would know how to kill it.
Iliash kind of leans closer and he's like, Lord Watcher, perhaps you should listen. He is very, very powerful. You did not see what he accomplished, and Zakai kind of like waves a hand. I know of magic. I have seen its misuse.
Is that not what we have before us now?
He narrows his eyes. If we give you access to the old texts, you will go in there and attempt to deal with the spirit of Fendris?
I believe I will. I cannot suffer such a blight upon the land.
I'll inquire if Fendris is buried around here.
Nobody knows what
500 years
happened
ago,
to
Victor,
Fendris.
would they know where he was buried?
I don't know if he was like important enough to be in a big family tomb. or
If he
something. I
was
guess
buried,
not.
it'd be at the bottom of his own keep, probably. Which is
Yeah,
where we're going.
probably. He looks at you and he looks at the figure of your servant Regon and the kind of the odd figure of Sylviona. Then back to you. You've already taken enough of the watch. If we let you in there, understand that we will not let you out.
I do not intend to leave until the task is done. Even should they take me, I should take more than enough of them with me to be worth the while.
If I have your solemn oath on this,
You do. I swear, as Tella Amandaris, that I shall complete this task or die in the attempt.
he seems to take in a breath and he gives like a backward wave and the guards that had followed him move off. He turns to Iliash and says, "Show them to the town. take them to the records. Have them be about their way quickly. Make sure they cause no trouble.
Thank you for
and-
your time. Gosh.
Yeah, Ilyash, like, lowers his head, and he's like, yes, of course. And the guy kind of storms off. This whole time, you smell something very faintly on the wind, and it smells like rotting leaves and rotting like tree trunks. It seems fairly strong, and it seems to be wafting over this kind of over these fortifications and up over this mound that seems to form this hill. So yeah, I take it you guys follow Ilyash to into the little town outpost and want to go view the records.
Yes.
When we get to the records area, I'm actually going to try to pull to the side for about an hour and perhaps commune with my god while.
Yeah, I think they probably
I will be doing that as well. So.
they probably let you do that. Like, the less people they have to let into their precious like record room, the better.
I tend to be perusing the records, but at one point I will have to redo my spells, or I can't do it in the first place. So.
Yeah, the entire time that you're there, like, you've got like a watch, and basically you're led into something of a like almost a tree city. Like there are buildings built into the trees, and then there are buildings built onto the land. And they're kind of built in tandem. There's not a whole lot of them, and they're not like conventional kind of boxy buildings. It's all made out of native wood. And you see like the occasional woman and child looking out from a house, and like it seems like there are hooded figures everywhere with bows, basically just watching you. There are no roads here or anything, and everything is basically under the cover of the canopy, except for like a few apparently chimneys have been like very tall chimneys have been kind of sunk under.
So it feels just like home to Sylvia.
Yeah, very similar. Like, you're basically permitted to rest for an hour if you say, like, we've been traveling a long time, and you're able to kind of rest in something of a town square almost. Like, there's not too much delineating it from like another part of the forest, except like for some reason they have like a couple trees that are actually in like little stone holders and whatnot. You may redo your spells as you see fit, and everything else that comes with a short 1 hour rest.
Cool. I'm going to switch Sanctuary for Holy Weapon is about the only thing I'm going to change, but I think given what we're doing, it might be more useful.
Yeah.
I shall swap Detect Magic for Contact Spirits.
Yes.
That might come in handy.
Fireball will stay, and Cure Light Wounds will stay.
I'm fearing before this is through, Tel will wish he let me speak to that one that wasn't, actively trying to kill us. Maybe he could have answered some questions in some way.
I'm not worried about the answers. I'm worried about the spores that are in the body.
Yeah, I want to collect some of those, actually.
Exactly.
You don't say that, do you?
No, I'm not going to say that, but I definitely would.
I
So
wouldn't know that about you, but I would know that they would probably be infectious, and we should not mess with them before we have to.
Can I pull an oil lamp out of my adventuring gear so I have something to set something on fire?
You
if
can
I
pull
need to?
any and all non-magical equipment you may want out of the inventory.
non-magical, non-valuable.
Yes, if it's not worth much and it's not magical, you can probably find it there.
Yep.
Would an oil lamp
Yep.
qualify? Okay,
Yeah,
I
that would.
figure I could probably use that to set one of these on fire in a pinch.
Absolutely. Right, so you guys have your rest, and I suppose like the other two of you basically have like 2 hours of rest. Maybe you take a ration. Well, definitely, you guys who are not Silviona Mark
Well-
ration.
Sylvie cannot read, so she's gonna be a little help in the.
Yeah, so you're probably sitting outside on a stone with Regan. Well, tell
With Brother
either-
Wolf. Yeah.
like, yeah, they let you in. It's a very small building. Um,
I find my rations rapidly reducing.
yes,
Mhm.
yes,
We
that's
haven't
what
even-
happens when you see. That's because you're resting not based on time but on spells. I think that's their way of kind of countering it. Yeah, they lead you into kind of a tall building. It doesn't look like it's got 3 floors when you're outside. Once you enter, it's obvious that it has like 3 kind of.
Did roll
Not
20
much-
die?
Are you guys still there?
Yep.
Weird. I got a connection interrupted thing a second ago.
Weird. There's basically 3 floors to this small kind of rectangular building. It's definitely taller than it is wide. It's kind of odd. There's a woman inside. She's elven with whitish blonde hair, and she kind of eyes you warily. And on the upper 2 floors seem to be shelves with some books, more scrolls, and the bottom floor has a table, some other shelves, and the typical things you might see of a very, very makeshift library.
Are there any open markets in town, and would they accept anything that we had in exchange
No.
for more rations? Okay,
This is definitely not even a full town.
like an outpost then.
It barely. It doesn't even really qualify as a village. Like from what you've gathered from Iliash, the population is kind of spread out all along the rim of this crater. And there's maybe only like 13 people who live in this section where you are. It's just there's more people here because like there's like just as many people here guarding you because they're wary of you. They basically have nothing to trade. So what do you do, Tell?
I assume I'm at some kind of ancient bookshop, or not bookshop, but like a library full of old books.
I described it to you. You heard it, right?
Yes, it's like a top floor, and there's like shelving
Yeah.
units.
Yeah, it's definitely not a shop. It's basically
Yeah, I
kind
didn't
of
say.
like the communal records.
I said shop. I didn't mean shop.
Yeah, yeah. Iliash has come with you, but like once you walk in, he kind of stands aside, and he nods to the woman, and he says, "Haren, this is Tell. Uh, the Lord Watcher has allowed him access to one of the scrolls." She looks you over. It's hard to tell her age. Like she's probably in her 30s if she was like a human. And she just kind of nods warily, like maybe she might not have seen like a full-blooded human, or at least maybe not very common. What is it that I can do for you, Master Telamon?
Telemon, yes, or simply Tell if you prefer. However, I seek information about the wizard Fendris. I'd like to peruse any scrolls related to him that you may have, or his work.
She immediately recognizes, like you can tell in her eyes when you say Fendris's name, like they're basically living atop of Fendris's keep, almost inside of Fendris Wood. Yes. We do not have much, but I will get what I can, she says as she looks over at Iliash, who's
In particular,
leaning.
anything you may have of his lineage or line would be most helpful.
She nods and she moves to a ladder and moves up to the second floor and seems to begin like collecting things. All the while, Iliash is there, leaning in the corner, just kind of keeping an eye on everything. You still get like the sense that he's. Oh no, you don't. He's actually, uh, he's actually kind of looking at you a little bit differently than he was before. His attitude hasn't seemed to change in terms of getting you what you need, but he seems like a lot more calm and kind of
Rhaegon's fear effect
introspective.
ended upon his sleep, I take it?
Yes, he wasn't sleeping; he was resting. But
Well,
he
yeah, but when he
he
reset his
spells.
Awesome.
Was
that
that
noted down here?
was that a good note or a bad awesome?
That was a good awesome. I've just got my spells.
doesn't need to be afraid of me anymore that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
I'm already
Yeah,
sworn to his cause.
yeah. His attitude is notably different in a lot of ways, but like he's kind of acting the same. Like before, it was like he was obviously trying to remain calm. Now he's just calm. And yeah, he's there. You get the feeling more to make sure people don't cause you trouble and have something like escalate from there. But you never know. Eventually, a few minutes later, she comes back down. Heren does, and she has like an armful of scrolls, and it's not. It looks at first like a book, but it's really it appears to just be a binding that has bound a series of scrolls together flatly like a book. And she kind of guides you over to a small wooden table and sets them out for you, and carefully sets out the scrolls. Some of them appear to be fairly old. Some of them seem to be fairly new, like they are like recreations. And she kind of sets about explaining what they are. She kind of hovers over you as you look through them. And you get the very librarian sense from her that she's kind of like conscious of whenever somebody's going through the scrolls. So, let's see here. You are looking for the true name of Fenris the Healer.
Yes. Or his near descendants. It may not have been him, but it may have been a close descendant that caused the problem.
Yeah. You find lots of references to Fenris, but few references that actually, are from his time. It seems by the time he was dead, he was simply known as Fenris the Healer. You do find two entries, one in the bookbinding one, that seems to be some sort of lineage, and the other charting the timeline somewhat of the disaster. It seems like it's a theoretical timeline, and somebody has in their notations, like they've guessed when Fenris died, but the important thing here is they basically write out his name. And let's see here. Yeah, so Fenris turns out to be his last name, and his actual name, and I will say this slowly so you can get it, is Araris Morel Isarov Fendris.
I probably spelled it wrong, but it's gonna say the same.
Yeah. Actually, since you're reading this, I can actually just spell it for you.
We're gonna totally end up with an Army of Darkness situation. You're gonna forget one of those words.
I have written them down. I cannot do so.
You're not going to have this written down for the purposes of the game, but to make sure everything is correct in your notes if you should have them.
Oh, I have notes about this. Summoning of spirits is not to be taken lightly.
Yes. Would you let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, it's that seems to be all you're gleaning from this. Like she's obviously gained you texts that talk about Fendris, the ones most likely to just refer to him in the biographical sense. You don't really get any clear ideas to how he died or when. It's several centuries ago. Could be like 4 or 5 centuries ago. Apparently, there were several Fendrises afterwards that were part of his line that were not known as Fendris the Healer, and like a lot of things kind of got mixed up. Apparently, whoever was Lord of the Keep was also Fendris for a while. It gets very confusing.
Who wrote the lineage?
The lineage. Lineage is written by Scavenu Delay. Yeah, I'm definitely not spelling that one out.
Works for me.
So, Heron, turns to you after you've obviously perused everything, and I think you've written down a few notes. Is that all you will be requiring, Master Amon?
If you have such a place, I would like a small room, perhaps secure against other things. Things have been known to go wrong with these summons. I would prefer a
her
place where
eyes
no one
widen a
else
bit,
would be
and
harmed
she
by
looks
them.
to Ilias, who gets up from where he's leaning against the wall, and he waves to her. He says, "That won't be necessary. We'll bring you somewhere else."
Very well. I would prefer a
Hopefully
place
Solomon
where no one
gets
else
us.
would be harmed by it if such a thing would have come to pass.
So he walks you outside and back to your compatriots. It looks like Tell has been gone for like almost an hour, and he finally shows up, looking, I don't know, however Tell looks when he's gotten most of the answers he wanted.
Normally, he'd probably look slightly pleased at the concept, but that's not exactly a day to be pleased, is it? The true challenge is yet to come.
So I've been told to allow you to do this ritual, but what does it entail?
It involves preferably a safe summoning circle that I shall have to prepare, and ideally I shall speak the summoning and the true name of the one I wish to summon, this Fendris. His spirit will come if it can, assuming it is actually beyond this plane, and I will ask him a question. It may take multiple summonings to get the information I desire. If he does not come, either the name that was written down within your text is incorrect, or he never left this plane, which would indicate that he may be among the dead, as it were, within the pit.
He kind of nods as he listens to you. I will take you outside of the village. It would be best not to do things here.
Indeed.
You catch eye of several kind of families, kind of staying inside their homes at your presence.
I too wish that we could do this in a place where no others could be harmed by it.
So, do you guys all just go with Tell?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's
Yeah.
got some in the spirit. I'm positively with him.
Yeah. So, he leads you out past the what you know to be kind of the middle ring fortifications. This is a fairly secure place. Like anything that gets past the first wall, it's pretty open terrain. Like they've cut down a lot of trees here, and like there's open sight lines, and it's like they're prepared for if this has some sort of weird side effect. Like they do combat here quite frequently. And he basically takes his distance. There's several of the rangers watching you, and they're all basically at distance. So how would you proceed, wizard?
I require a large flat rock, first of all.
Oh boy. You look around and you don't see any immediately. Like you say that out loud, and like Iliash looks to one of his guys, and he kind of points you off towards where there's kind of like an almost anvil shaped rock. It's much bigger than an anvil, and it's not like it's irregularly shaped, but you kind of get the point. It's sunk deep into the ground. It's not entirely flat in terms of a plane parallel to the ground, but it looks like there is a flat surface on it.
It will do. Okay, I'm going to take some chalk or something there. Like, do I have to have an adventurous back to have chalk?
No,
Okay.
you
Then
have chalk.
I begin to meticulously draw a summoning circle, which
All right.
might take a little while.
Yeah, so you guys, this wizard is doing weird wizardy shit. Are you standing back and watching? How do you guys react to this? Like,
I'm gonna be having
he's
my
been
notes
throwing
open.
around some pretty heavy magic.
I'm gonna be etching the rough sketch of the summoning circle into my notes.
Yeah. That seems.
Curious.
I will warn you, Rhaegon, that it must be completely precise. Should you wish to try it yourself, I would recommend that you seek some training first.
We'll have to work on that later for sure.
What is Sylviona doing during the time? I've had a long session to mine.
I was gonna say I transform into a bird and fly and watch you, but we're kind of in the same room, so that is not necessary. She just stands and watch you.
So you draw your circle.
Yes.
And let me see
I don't
here.
know if you want to make me some type of make a check for completeness.
I am looking here.
I don't know if the spell has those limitations, and this doesn't seem to, but that's the kind of precautions I would take in regular D&D 3.5 for it.
Just do your casting.
Okay, I shall stand upon the rock with my back arched to the sky. Begin the summoning ritual. Not a ritual though; it's a spell.
Yeah.
Ideally,
thing.
maybe he can tell me about a ritual. That'd be really nice. Flash roll. 2d6 plus 2. Go. Enter. 9.
Choose one.
Choose one. I may need to cast it again. So... I'm going to need to cast many spells today.
Unwanted attention would be pretty scary. I don't know what you pull in against this.
Indeed.
That would be exactly what the village elder feared.
I will take -1 ongoing.
Okay. Yeah.
Much as I'd rather not, but I will.
Like when you cast your spell, there's like an unusual reaction in your summoning circle, something you've never seen before. It seems to warp for a second. It seems to be doing something with this place. Like there seems to be like a lot of latent energy kind of just going through this area of the forest. But it's kind of fluctuating. It's being drawn in like multiple directions. It's very weird, and yeah, it just kind of it causes a little bit of a backlash, and you know you're off balance with your connection to your spells for a
Regardless,
while.
the spell has finished casting. So
Yes.
speak the name. Eraris Morel Esserov Vendris. I summon you from whence you are to answer my question. And should it actually succeed, the rock will spiral until it seems to gellify. There'll be sparks and things that erupt from it, and ideally the spirit will be within the summoning circle.
None of those things happen.
Well,
Regan's going to shoot a disappointed look at the.
that is indeed disturbing.
It tell.
I detected a fluctuation of the energies in this area. Has me worrying about the effects therein.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
going to
basically
take
just
a,
crickets. The
Are
sound
you-
of forest crickets.
Are you sure you pronounced it right?
That's how I have written it down. As it was written within the books.
And as it was handed upon from up high from the GM.
Perhaps it is the latent magic of this area. To try again at a different location that is farther away from the source. I believe that tree may be interrupting magics and their effects around this area.
So, you know, Ilyash has kept his distance, but he's been watching fairly closely, and he approaches after he's, you know, determined nothing's going to happen. You wish to try again?
I believe that the energies of the tree are disrupting it. It could be that he is not there to be summoned. But I wish to remove the latent energies of this area from the equation.
Very well. I will guide you out beyond the last ring. And you know, he gets everybody to pack up. He kind of looks at like your summoning circle on the stone and just shakes his head. And you know, you guys basically head back the way you originally came, going all the way back out past their outer ring. This is fairly far away
It's
from.
okay. Before we leave, I will conduct the ending ceremony of such a thing, and then when that is done, I will flub out the circle.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, he guides you out pretty far.
We shall try again.
How exactly is this supposed to work?
Well, ideally, it makes a connection between this plane and the plane of the spirits to call forth that who has been summoned to answer but a single question. The contact with the spirits is tenuous at best, but they should come if they are there to be called.
It strikes me that you were saying if he was one of the green ones that he would not come.
This is a distinct possibility. He must
You
be
but you
within the realm
just
of.
but you just said his spirit needed to be in the realm of the dead, not his body.
Yes. I believe so.
You have not seen them, so you would not understand, but these things have no spirits.
The green ones may have no spirit, but have you looked upon the tree itself?
He kind of shudders. He's just like the tree is not pleasant to look upon.
Indeed not. Uh, if what I fear may be true, if he indeed liked to grow things and see them prosper, what would he do should his tree fall ill?
Just gives you a shrug. Yeah, he leads you. He leads you kind of to a less flat stone. It's a little bit rounder. Like you might have to balance a bit on top of it, but it's the closest thing he could find.
Okay, I shall make the summoning circle again, and shall repeat the ritual again. I can say it again if you want me to, but otherwise I'm just going to roll the dice.
Yeah, just roll the dice. I'm
Nine
not
again.
that cruel. Now we get another tough decision.
I'm going to forget the spell this time.
Hmm.
If it doesn't work this time, it's not worth trying again.
Yeah. There's like a ripple through your mind as you do this, and this time the circle doesn't even light up. Nothing happens.
His spirit is not there to be called. It may be as I fear then.
So, what would you do next?
It would seem that we shall have to talk to him directly, with all the danger therein.
Uh, he looks a little bit unsure now. He says, "I the elder will let you in, but if you go in there, we have orders to kill those who attempt to exit. I'll try to do what I can, but
The energy I detected, I assume the source of that energy. Have you followed it, or know of any son who there have? I suspect it is at the source of the power that the tree will sit, but if it is not,
we use no magic. I've told you, it does
Indeed.
not interact well with the green ones.
You know why Fenris built his keep here? Perhaps Heron would know.
He looks at you and he shrugs. He's like, I know nothing of the time of Fenris.
She has shown me the works of Fenris. Do you know if there are any magical writings among her collection related to locations of great magic?
If this tree were the focus of the forest, it would be a place of great power.
He
Indeed.
kind of shrugs, like he understands the word you're saying, but he's not really following.
It may be based upon the power of ritual that such a thing may fall then. But I know not what the ritual may require until I reach the spot.
Regardless, the Lord Watcher is not known for his patience. Zakai is quite old. He has seen much and many deaths in his time. You told him you wished to go in, and and to burn out the green ones. I do not believe he believes you can succeed, but in, I think he is content to let you kill yourselves. However, uh, he is not known for his patience.
Of course. I merely wish to try this route first. Should it have succeeded, Fenris himself would surely know how to deal with his own tree.
He nods. So what are you guys doing?
Well, we'll have to go there now, I guess. We've been bound to do.
To
I
the
shall
great
do.
tree.
Yes, and as I suspect, the nexus of power therein.
And likely the source of quite a bit of mold.
Mold and mildew. So yeah, they lead you back the way you went yet again, up towards where you kind of found the makeshift village, and then past that, all the way to where you encountered Zakai. This time he is not present, and you stand before these makeshift barricades. Beyond them is clear sky. Much of the forest behind you has been cleared, but this forest still remains. Beyond these barricades, though, there is only open sky, and you cannot see precisely what lies beyond. Archers manned watchtowers upon either side of this opening where the barricade is in the wall. Before you is basically, you know, one of the areas that has been bashed down in this wall, and it is obvious that it can be used as an entrance. Eliash looks at you and he says, "Well, this is as far as we go. We have not raided in a long time. We keep the walls."
Then we will go in.
Yeah, he kind of gives you all a nod. He's pretty, you know, like somber, like you know, it looks like he's pretty sure you guys are going to die. But he seems to like respect that you're trying to do something. He he motions to somebody who is waiting nearby, and as they walk up, he says, "You said you searched for an alternate way into the city of Ixandis."
I do indeed. However, I cannot let a blight upon this land stand now that I know about it.
Well, I know not of Ixandis, but I know that the bottom of the pit, where the keep once stood, there are tunnels, and these tunnels, so the records say, lead on very far. He takes a pack from this person he's motioned up, and he holds it out to you. I could not provide much, but since you cannot come out this way, perhaps you will find your exit that you seek. And he hands you this pack, and I assume you look to see what is inside.
Indeed.
Said indeed. It didn't come through.
Okay.
Indeed. No, that's too high pitched. Oh well, I'll do it again. Indeed. But apparently, indeed is too low to trigger my mic, it seems. So.
Yeah, it seems it's stuffed to the brim with supplies. Nothing incredibly valuable, at least not back in civilization. But out here, where everything has to be handmade, this is a fair amount. Inside are, let's see here. 5 rations, some bandages.
5 rations, as in 5 uses of rations, or 5
Yeah,
rations,
yeah.
5 uses each?
5 uses. Bandages, which are 3 uses, slow, and 0 weight. When you have a few minutes to bandage someone else's wounds, heal them of 4 damage and expend a use. Also within is an antitoxin, 0 weight. And let's see. I think there's one last thing I had said.
Do the field rations work like dungeon rations?
Field rations?
Or were the dungeon... I wrote field rations, so it's probably dungeon... Never mind.
My handwriting was really poor when I wrote this. Oh yes. There seems to be like in a side pouch, kind of packed with the like with some rags just to make sure they're stable. Are a pair of vials. With like a dark red liquid. He looks, as you look those over, he cautions, be careful with those. We usually have no need for them, but on some of the more resilient ones, it can come in handy. Serpent's tears. Should you poison one of the creatures with this, it will make it much easier to kill. Stat-wise, Serpent's Tears, you have 2 of them. It is dangerous. It has touch, 0 weight, and anyone dealing damage against the target rolls twice and takes the better result.
Thank you. King's ransom in these dire times.
Yeah, he nods. He looks kind of apologetic that he couldn't give you more. And I assume you kind of just give it a cursory look through. Nobody counts change like directly in front of somebody, and you toss it over like a shoulder. And
Am I tying my? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was wondering if I'm tying my horse here, or if I'm taking.
Oh, that was actually going to be brought up. One of the not Ilias, but one of his rangers looks at the beast and actually approaches you. And she says, "You should not take that in there. It would be a meaningless death."
Given I only have 1 horse left, I'm going to thank her and basically hand her the reins over and say that it eats very little food. It should be fine.
She looks surprised by this, and she looks kind of skeptically at you. You can only see like the upper portion of her face. She has bright green eyes, and it looks like a curl of red hair. But after a moment, she nods and then pets the horse like it's not the most healthy of horses, of course. It's not. You have not taken great care of this beast.
I've taken better care of it than it might appear. In others' hands, it would probably have been dead long ago.
She gives you another nod. Like maybe she understands there are some hard cases. Maybe she doesn't like understand what you're actually getting at. She thinks for a moment, and she consults the GM book. You have a mace, correct?
That's correct.
What are the tags on your mace?
You mean the runes I have written on it?
Like, what are, like, is it close? What is it? Like, you should have those kind of
Those
written
tags.
in
It's
parentheses.
close in one hand.
Okay. She pulls a dagger from a sheath on her side and flips it around and then hands it to you. It is fairly long, and it has a kind of a dancing sort of curved blade, and she just gives it to you. You may add. It's definitely kind of unusual. You may add throwing dagger to your list. It has the tags thrown and near, and it weighs 0.
Oh wow, 0. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really needed. I'm going to smile a thin-lipped and kind of gapped tooth smile and a thank her for her assistance. This could come in very handy.
She kind of suppresses a shudder
And in the
at this
back of my
horrifying
mind,
sight.
I'm going to be thinking that now I finally have something to cut parts off that I've needed. So
Oh God. All right. So after this touching scene of the cleric handing off his horse to the unsuspecting, who knows if this thing carries plague, you all head through the barricade.
Before we go, have you arrows that you could spare?
As you say this, Ilyash kind of takes in the bow over your shoulder. I think you've probably been getting the occasional glance because of it, and not like a friendly one. It's obviously recognized that this is actually kind of one of their bows. A couple of the rangers who are standing guard next to the wall give each other a look, and then they're looking at you and they look at him, and he's quiet for a moment and he looks back back and forth. Then he looks at one and he nods and he kind of gestures over with his shoulder, and there's kind of like an almost incredulous look, but the guy pulls a quiver off of his shoulders, and actually it's actually probably attached to his belt, and pulls out and he gives it to you. You have a quiver of arrows. Let's see
Should
here.
we survive, I shall return it to you.
Yeah, this guy looks totally doubtful at that. You may mark that you have ammo 3.
Where does that go?
Just put it in your inventory.
Does it have weight?
Let me look. Probably. Yes, 1 weight. Bundle of arrows is the official title. Oh, wait. Oh, these are elven arrows. 4 ammo per 1 weight. You lucked out.
The dagger down on my sheet is an elven curved throwing dagger, if it matters at all. I'm assuming that
Yeah.
it's elven.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is. So you all got your meager.
And then I have a little discussion with Brother Wolf. Brother Wolf, if you do not wish to enter this place, I will understand.
Yeah, Brother Wolf has been extremely tense. He had actually stayed out of the village, and he'd only kind of followed you once you had left it. He looks back and forth. You go in. How was I doing his voice? You go in there.
We
He
must.
kind of gestures. He looks dubious.
If not, if you do not
Smell
wish
of
to
death.
come, we go to purge this place of the death. If you do not wish to come, I shall meet you again in the forest one day.
He kind of like you. I guess you maybe notice like a flinch almost on his flank where that arrow hit, and he kind of looks back and he looks over at Tell, and he kind of walks next to you, like he just stands there.
If that is your choice.
He doesn't say anything. He doesn't look pleased, but he's not leaving. So, you guys head in past the barricade.
Yep, I think so.
Yep.
Heading on in. I might try to charge my mace up before I even. How long does that last? Just I guess until I cancel it, it'll
Charge what?
charge my mace up with the holy weapon. It'll just last, I think, until.
If is it ongoing?
I think it's ongoing. Then.
If it's ongoing, it's
ongoing.
it's
Negative 1
until you dismiss it. I think.
Yeah.
I think I still might roll it up before we go in, so I have it at the ready.
Yeah.
Weapon you hold while casting does plus 1d4 damage until you dismiss this spell. While the spell
Yeah.
is ongoing, you take -1 to cast a spell.
Do it. Cast your spell.
Oh,
13. Jesus Christ.
Wow. All these rolls are going to disappear as soon as you guys head underground. Yeah, you cast it. What does it look like when you cast Holy Weapon on your unholy weapon?
I'm gonna guess that all the runes will probably light up along the sides of it, and the weapon will take on a very. No, actually, I gotta think of what that would actually probably look like, but definitely the runes will light up on the side of the very.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys see Regan do this with his mace. I think some of the guards take note, and they're like, they kind of ward back, like they didn't know he was magic. And you guys head in. Even though it is the middle of the day, you kind of get like a chill as you pass these gates, or not really gates, past this barricade, and you walk up further onto this kind of bowl almost. And as you start to reach the top, you see the other side, and you see it is in fact some sort of crater made long ago. It has started to overgrow with plant life, like vines and bushes. The occasional tree looks to have grown on its sides, although the trees seem to have been chopped at various points. And fires seem to have been set, so several areas of the bowl are scorched. It seems they regularly burn it. But you see like green, lush vegetation creeping out from the center of this bowl. And the further you get up on top of the lip, and the further you see down into the center, and you see there's actually a dark like hole in the earth. It's not even, like there's cracks running up several sides of the bowl. There's like this chasm that just disappears into the earth, and rising up from in this chasm, at least 30 or 40 feet in the center of the bowl is a massive tree. It might even be bigger. It might be 60 feet. It's hard to tell at this distance. This is a very big bowl of a crater. and yeah, you see this tree overgrown with lichen and moss, and it is perhaps the most sickly looking piece of vegetation you have ever seen. Like you don't understand how moss can be growing on it, like growing, an act of living, yet look dead. The tree's branches all look withered and gnarled. The leaves, what it has, are dark brown, and in some places dark green. It appears to be a weird amalgamation of a withered tree yet still alive. There's no reason it should have leaves if it is truly dead. There are vines growing up all along it, and other various sorts of growths. There seem to be almost like odd tumors that infect the wood, and that is what you see as you approach the bowl with the dead tree in the center.
I think my character's gonna look over that tree with a increasing smile and a simple fascinating.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good picture. So yeah, I think that's where we're gonna end it tonight.
Awesome. That was
Dun dun dun.
an awesome session, actually.
Yeah, we got pretty far. I had anticipated one of your entry routes would take a full session, but you know, it still went places I didn't see. So I hope everybody had fun. That was a lot of role playing. I hope you're not tired of it. I think we started at 8. We had like probably a combined break of maybe 45 minutes somewhere. So like 6+ hours.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome, man. I enjoyed the session. I'm looking forward to the next one, and sorry
Well-
I was kind of quiet there in the background. My character's just kind of hanging out in the background,
Yeah.
letting our
Total
wizard do the
XP
talking.
gained by rolls 2.
Yeah.
No, it was at least 3. I got 2.
Or 3.
Let's do some end session stuff. I know they say to start with bonds. I want to start with alignment. It's simpler. Sylvie, did you help something or someone grow after the pine cone?
Not since the pine cone.
Okay. Tell, did you use your magic to directly aid another?
Probably not. I don't think I got offered, but no one took it, so I don't think so.
What did you offer?
I offered to heal any of them that needed it, but they told me that I already, I killed all the ones thoroughly.
Oh yeah, that was true. They were thoroughly roasted. Yeah, I suppose so.
I tried to summon the spirit guy, that didn't work out. That doesn't directly aid them. It just gets me knowledge that leads there.
Regon, how about you?
The only thing I could think that might argue lawful, endanger yourself following the precepts of your church or god is the fact that this mission has sounded like it could be important for my order, and the fear could have, I supposedly backfired, and they could have gotten very, very angry with me if I had failed. But that's the only thing I can think of. After
Endanger
that,
yourself following the precepts of your church or god, and your precepts are, I think we're playing this a little loose. You officially picked cultish and insular. Your petition is gaining secrets. That's not necessarily your precepts. So
yeah, I'm not really sure if that would apply. The big thing is I guess the way my character is viewing it now is this mission went from just a job to a very important one because of the
I don't
direction and zombies and something.
I don't think you directly. I don't think there was a direct kind
That's
of
fine.
link.
That's fine. Yeah, that was, like I said, it was really, really iffy. I
Yeah.
was just throwing it out there. It's the only thing that even kind of came to mind. But I'm pretty sure it skipped.
Does anybody have a bond that they feel has changed sufficiently in the last 2-ish hours since we last talked about it?
No, I don't think so on my end.
Probably not.
Is that bond that's I didn't fill out? Will that eventually, I guess, when you level up again, does that get replaced or?
You'll have the option to fill that one out. As you complete bonds, you can basically write in your own. So if you complete a bond, you can either fill that one in, or you can fill that one in with time. If you
Oh,
feel
okay.
like you that meet somebody, like you trust one of the members of the party implicitly. I don't know if that will happen, but
So, how many bond slots do we have?
that's something I could not find.
Because the
the one thing
cleric
is
and
you
the
can
druid
only
have 4, the wizard has 3.
yeah. I think the important thing is you can only complete one per session normally. So it doesn't necessarily matter how many you have because you can only complete one at a time. I'm gonna say
Well,
don't overload on them.
the more you have, the more help or hinder will be affected.
Yeah. You know,
Doc has
I
4. I wouldn't go more than 4.
yeah, I would not go more than 4. I looked and I honestly could not find like a cap anywhere, even though they talked about it. So for now, we'll say a top of 4. If you had like a party that was larger than that, I don't know. We'll see.
That sounds good.
So God, what's everybody's XP total? There's 2 for the cleric,
3.
3 for the wizard, and 2 2 for the druid after like a 6-hour session. Jeez.
There is a note. There is more to the end of session stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Once bonds have been blah 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 as a group, did we learn something new and important about the world? Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy? Did we loot a notable treasure for each? Yes, everyone marks XP.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Let me go through these. I was just moving back to the end of session. Yeah. So the first question is, did we learn something new and important about the world?
Most definitely. We did all kinds of shit this time.
Yeah. Everybody put down 1 XP.
What about for the previous time?
We missed that the first time. Yeah, we're gonna do it for the first time too, because I think that the concerns were still valid. This was an extra long session. This was like 2 normal sessions. So your first session, I think you guys learned a lot about, or at least you learned a little bit about like Exandus and the rumors and stuff. Can anybody clarify?
Well, the first session we learned all kinds of stuff about like the Lyrian forest and this forest in general.
We learned about Exandus. We learned about.
Yeah, I guess you learned the realities of the forest.
We learned the realities of the world. Well, as
it
part of this
wasn't-
little
no,
section of the
no,
world.
not the world. It's you previously had thought that this forest was basically uninhabited, and like you basically learned as you started moving in here that not only was it not uninhabited, but like there was
A
some
whole
weird shit
order
going
of
on here.
people that are dedicated to defending this place.
Yeah, and you didn't learn the specifics of that until later. So, mark down 1 for learning about the basic realities of the forest, and then mark down 1 for everything you guys learned in the last 30 minutes. So that's a total of 2 from that one. Let's make sure nobody doubles up on everything. Like I said 1 before, it's a total of 2.
Okay.
So a total of 4 I have now. The 2 plus the 2.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Moving on. In the first half of the session, did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
The tentacle thing?
Yes.
I think that definitely would count as a notable monster.
Yes.
Actually, I'm very concerned we were gonna wipe there for a second.
It was close. Bad rolls could have done shit. Not so much for the second one.
Nope, we didn't really fight anything yet.
So everybody
haven't-
just mark down 1 XP for that.
We haven't overcome anybody. We did convince the elves not to shoot us and got into this place, but.
Did we become a notable? That's a good point. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy? I'm
They're
gonna
not,
actually have to-
not necessarily our enemy, though.
They were your enemy, though. You were tossing fireballs at them, and they were shooting arrows at you.
True.
And it was basically only because Regon used that fear shit, and you guys kind of coerced these people into like using your powers to get rid of their problem. So yeah, actually, I'm going to change my view on that. you're gonna get another one for that one because
Oh,
you
awesome.
basically overcame an enemy and made them your friend, or at least your non-enemy.
And
So
we have
that's.
looted no treasure.
Did we loot a memorable treasure?
Unless
No.
you count an elven bow, which that probably isn't a lot.
No,
No,
not
yeah.
a memorable
We're,
treasure.
we're talking like magic shit, right?
Magic shit or something valuable.
Yep, so we haven't looted anything yet. So
Yeah, I was careful not to mention anything. Like bodies were left behind because I mean it was because of the fire. Like I was actually appreciative that you guys did that because you were doing what you should actually be doing and not running back and like poking around things that were obviously going to cause you trouble. So yeah, that one doesn't count. No loot, but you guys ended up getting another total of 4. So I think that probably puts some of you closer, but not there yet.
Yep, I'm at 7, so I need 2 more.
I'm at 6. I need 3 more. Looks like not bad.
All right. As usual, I'm going to ask if there's any comments or questions, concerns, anything anybody had that they want to address now before we leave.
I am curious about one thing about the end of session. What if one person accomplishes something from that list, but not the others for some
It's
reason?
it's we.
It's a we.
So it's still a we.
basically
Okay,
your
that's
group.
good to know. Okay, that's good to know. I was wondering if I end up stealing
No,
sort of
no.
the secret value. Okay.
Is there anything you guys would like to see more of, see less of, see me do better for next session tomorrow?
I don't know. It's been fun so far.
Yeah, it's been great.
I can guarantee you almost assuredly that tomorrow's session will be vastly more eventful. Just because you're not trekking through a forest. Like, I mean, there's only so much that can happen in a forest.
Can't believe I've seen like 24 dead bodies probably at this point, and I haven't been able to get even in
Yeah, I know.
spitting distance
It-
of any of them.
You want my prediction for tomorrow? The skull of Fendris.
Yeah, you never actually talked with King what's his name? King Harrell. Like we never got his advice. Maybe that can come into play.
Yeah, that definitely could.
Personally, I think he melted his spirit with his tree and has somehow become corrupted. Yep. That's my
Seems a
that's
good
my
bet.
thought. And that's why I was going. I wish I had things talk, because then I could speak tree.
I was saying,
But-
wherever his spirit is, he's not dead. Very important note that we've learned.
Oh, that's why I said I wish I had things talk or elemental mastery. Because even if I had elemental mastery, I could be like, I wish this tree to be burned to a cinder.
I think that's looking more like
But,
the tomorrow night.
I will note that the other 2 routes you could have taken were vastly different. I think you took the more circumspect one, but they're still open for further interaction later on in the sessions. If you guys live that long, perhaps the way you go in is not the way you come out.
Perhaps party number 2 will have to take one of those routes.
Yeah, really. Like,
I predict much Golgari art in our coming days.
yeah. So I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely.
We will continue tomorrow at roughly 8 p.m. Eastern
Yep,
With,
I'm gonna go
uh,
stop the recording.
with
I'm
session
worried
2.
about